it's like Palestinians who were born in Gaza, who they don't want in Gaza. Lebanon says we can't take these people, and they just put them there for their political activities. And the U.S. does not veto the Security Council resolution condemning it. Like they flat out they vote for it, saying Israel violated the Geneva Conventions. And after that, Israel starts claiming um that the US is the base of terrorism funding and Hamas is based in Chicago. And the US's response is, no, you guys are just retaliating against us because we didn't veto this resolution. And then Judith Miller of the New York Times, she writes about this in her book, 99 Days for God. She says, the CIA and the FBI all denied this, but I believed the Israelis. So the Israeli prime minister, who is also her personal friend, invites her to Israel and allows her to oversee the interrogation of a US citizen. And she actually submits questions to the interrogator. And there's all these Clinton era messages from the ambassador to the State Department being like, this guy's being mistreated, but this is how Palestinians are treated. This isn't a fair trial. And Miller just goes over there and then runs this front page story in the New York Times that doesn't mention at the time that she had participated in the interrogation. Israel says Arab Americans fund terrorism, and that was a huge part of it. On top of that, you do have this concerted effort beginning in the 70s to use the threat of terrorism to revive the sort of anti-communist type investigations. When the Church Committee has their report about sort of how bad FBI surveillance of Martin Luther King and the anti-war movement was, Barry Goldwater actually gives a dissent on it, saying with rising terrorism, we can't put checks on the FBI. This is 1975. And then during the Reagan era, there's a whole, they add terrorism as an FBI priority, and it's very much understood at the time as an attempt to revive McCarthyism. You can go back and look at like old academic books on HUAC from the 80s, and they'll say the current stuff about terrorism in the Senate and the Reagan administration mirrors the McCarthy period. And so there was this effort to revive the Hoover era practices using terrorism, and the Palestinians were a convenient scapegoat.